she represents. All remarks shall be directed to the chair, and no colloquy between or among persons presented shall be permitted. No person shall extend his or her remarks beyond 5 minutes, but if the person represents several others, the chair may make reasonable and appropriate exceptions to this time limitation. The allowance of any rebuttal remarks shall be solely within the discretion of the chair. At this time, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the local law, please come forward. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the local law? And for a third time, anyone wishing to speak for or against, this is your opportunity. Please come forward. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Councilmember Soriento, second.
Second.
Councilmember Brosnan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Yeah, yeah. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Troy City Council Public Utilities Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, March 21st. And if we can all please rise to the pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America. Great, I'm going to do a roll call here. Councilmember Casey.
Here.
Councilmember Barrett. Council President ex officio Steele. Present. Okay, all are present and I am here. Okay, so the presentation of the agenda is going to be the lead response, changes to the rules and regulations regarding the lead and lead replacement, the use of grant funding for the lead replacement. The meeting shall be live streamed on City Council's YouTube channel. I'm going to open it up though for a public forum if anyone would like to speak. All I ask is if you can please state your name and the vicinity that you live in.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, I'm Greg Campbell. Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Greg Campbell. I live at Ida here in Troy. I'm here all the time talking about lead, so I want to reiterate all of that stuff. But the one thing that I did want to notify the council of that was pretty exciting is in the last couple of weeks, the city of Syracuse, the city council authorized $10 million municipal bonds for the replacement of lead service lines. To my knowledge, that's the first city to have done so. While that's really exciting, because it shows that a pretty major city in New York State has, weighed the likelihood of the constitutionality challenge and gone ahead with it anyway. And we know that Albany is thinking about doing it, and probably a lot of others. I do want to say that there's a 10-year horizon where this work needs to be done, and there isn't an unlimited labor supply. And so when cities in upstate New York start doing this, when they start bonding, there's a lot of reasons why that's good for them, but it's especially good for them now when they're able to lock in good rates for replacing lead pipes before every other city in the state starts doing that and they're bidding against each other. If you look at proposals that Syracuse, Rochester, and a couple other cities have put forward for lead service line replacement, they would blush at how much we're paying per pipe. We're sort of blessed with the deal that we have, but that's not going to last. The prices are only, and so the sooner that you can lock these deals in, the better. And so I would just encourage the council to really consider bonding, even if you're expecting grants down the line, just to have that liquidity to get these programs going fast. Because we have a very tight window right now where Troy actually has an advantage for getting the lead service line replacement program going. And that window will close. It has to, just because every city has to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Yep. Councilmember Gill.
Greg, I'm curious as to what your role is. I mean, you're very adamant about this particular issue and your brother, that kind of thing. Why is it that what's your background in wanting to get this done?
Oh, thank you. Well, I worked in environmental health policy for about 4 years at the state level. And then I now work. Well, I have a day job, but then at night I'm on the board of directors, which is a community advocacy group, lead pipe replacement in Colorado. And also, as I'm a delegate to the Detroit Area Labor Council. Of course, we're friends with folks over at like Wyuna, for instance. And so this is a conversation that we're having a lot of places. The pipe fitters especially, and it's like a massive priority for them. If you look at like what's going on in like central New York, they've been able to establish really robust jobs training programs off of this, and yeah, so just everywhere that I know, like pipes is a big deal.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, would anybody else like to come up and speak? I'm gonna close the public forum. All right, so now I would like to invite Mayor Mantello to open up the presentation. Also with us, we have Andrew Golden, Russ Reed, and Nathan Sneaky.
I'm way better looking than me, thank you.
And our deputy mayor, Shane Stomley. It's where it is. Council member Soriento, I think the agenda was based on last year. So just so Andrew doesn't get put on the hook for changes in the lead rules and regs, that's inaccurate. There's not changes. Yeah, okay, just so you know.
Yep.
I think the agenda was based on last year, okay?
Thank
Before our folks, spoke here. I just wanted to give an overview of, you know, what we've done so far, what, the, folks last year did. To date, you know, obviously this is a huge priority for our administration. I did make a pledge to replace all lead pipes within the next 4 years. Certainly a daunting challenge, but very doable. There are a number of federal and state grants. I do appreciate Greg apprising us of Syracuse. He's right. Syracuse now will be the guinea pig for bonding. Our bond council is adamantly against the city of Troy bonding and testing that constitutionality. So I'm not sure where that will go, but you know, will be tough for us when our bonding council is telling us not to bond. So, but you know, Syracuse will be the guinea pig for bonding on private property. As Greg and many folks know, we could bond for the public side, but for the private side right now. I do know on that note that John McDonald is looking to get the comptroller or the AG to put something in writing for us, which would be fabulous because New York Conference of Mayors also are trying to just get something in writing, telling municipalities that it's okay for us to bond and replace these lead pipes on private property. So I did want to just hit that, but I think Greg, I did just look it up, Greg, and I'm seeing that Syracuse plans to replace 2,200 lead pipes, which actually sounds a little bit low for Syracuse, but you know, we'll see where that goes. So moving forward, the city of Troy has applied for a $12.8 million grant. We're hearing this could be very positive, something announced very soon. And, you know, as mentioned, if we were able to bond for those monies when we were informed that we've received that $12.8 million, we could obviously continue our replacements at a much faster pace, hire additional contractors, which would be fabulous. So to date, last year, as reported, 101 private residences were replaced, and much of that was through the $500,000 from the New York State Department of Health grant, which was awarded, if you recall, in 2018. The council at that time, Councilmember Steele, myself and Councilmember Soriento worked with the administration to get that rolling. So those monies are gone. We have been awarded over $500,000 from EFC for inventory purposes. We have a very aggressive public awareness campaign. And Jana, that does include informing folks that we are replacing all the pipes on the city. So we are not asking private homeowners to pay, and that will be clearly outlined in that public campaign. In addition to mailers, in addition to pop-up barbecues, wherever we can go to get that word out, we do intend a door-to-door campaign. So it will be a very aggressive campaign to get that inventory up to 80, 90. Obviously, our goal is 100% by October. If we can even get 85% there, I think we're in super good shape, but our goal is 100%. I also want to state on that note, we're hovering about 50%, which Andrew will talk about in a couple minutes. So that $500,000 from EFC will help us get the word out, do a public campaign, and hopefully also use some of that money, because we don't need $500,000 for an inventory. We can certainly use that money for the Brita pictures and other efforts. We did distribute a number of Brita pictures. Andrew will talk about that. We did get a shipment in last week, and we're already getting phone calls for new Brita pictures, and then folks who are looking for them. Today, we've replaced 20 lines this year, stating that's already a great stat considering the weather. So that's, you know, awesome. The Fanes are our contractor right now, but if we're able to secure this $12.8 million, we'll put another RFP out there for multiple contractors. So saying that, I just want to commend Andrew, his staff. I want to welcome aboard our newest engineer, Nate Panisi, who actually worked in CPU at one time and now is back in action about the water treatment plant. And once again, Russ is here with us. Andrew's also going to talk about another initiative about corrosion and just some of the updates that are happening at the water treatment plant. So some good things are happening, but the council should also be aware our treatment plant, and this is on the last note, Russ and I talk about it often. When I was a kid, we used to, school groups would actually tour the treatment plant because it was so state of the art and was like looked upon not just throughout our country, but other nations, actually other countries came to Troy, New York, believe it or not, to take a tour of our treatment plant. We were always state of the art, ahead of the curve. I want to say over probably the last, you know, probably 15 years, our treatment plants not received the love and care and attention that it should have received. So saying that we have received close to $5 million, which I was not aware of until I became mayor, and Russ is putting a game plan in action to update our treatment facility with those monies. But in addition, Russ is putting together a capital plan for the next 15 years to invest into our treatment plant, which is critical. I mean, you know, we talk about police, fire, right up there is water.
Yeah.
Water is essential. Safe drinking water is a must, not just to the city of Troy, but the other communities we serve. So I just wanted to commend Ron for bringing that to our attention. And I really want to welcome Nate, commend Andrew. He literally stepped up to the plate after Chris left, and obviously our deputy mayor who keeps them all together. So thank you. And I'll let our folks take it away, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
all my points.
Oh, as many others.
Yeah,
So many.
So I just want to start by saying, thank you to everybody in the new year, and I'd like to have a few more of these meetings this year as we go on, maybe once a quarter, just to keep everyone updated on, the progress of the lead program.
That would be great.
We did 101 services last year, and we're gonna do far more than that this year. The big thing, the main reason I wanted to talk to everyone is about the inventory. We're still at 48.6%. We're almost to the 50% mark, which we're excited about, but we'd love to see that get to 100% by October. So just, talking to our, constituents, our people, they get onto the website and verify, and if not, they get confused about that, they can, call us at the laboratory, we'll send someone out to their home, we'll verify the line for them. And, to date, on that front, we've been in 2,200 basements, just, between four of us at the water plant, plus, we're getting a lot of good information from the code department. They've been going out and verifying services. And then we've had 1,040 owner submissions as well. People go on the website, upload a photo, takes about 5 minutes. We can easily check what that service is made out of and then put it onto our map. So that's pretty much the inventory bit. For 2024, we're going to do over 200 lines with Fane. That's the goal for the year. Plus, some of that grant funding, when that comes in, we'll easily be able to do far more than that with other contractors. I'll say that we're going to start our, the official start to our construction season, besides the 20 leaks that we've already tackled this year. We're going to start next week down on 2nd Street. And we're doing the 2nd Street between Jackson and Monroe. And we're going to be replacing lines down there. We're going to start with doing some of the verification work, digging at the curb, figuring out what the public side and the private side of the line is. And then we're moving on from there up to 2nd Ave and then 5th Ave in Lansingburg. Want to touch on the Brita pictures. We got 610 Brita pictures that we've distributed already. And we've received 400 more of those, and we have replacement cartridges for those, when we hit that 6-month mark.
Andrew, now the Brita pictures, they are distributed to those that have been identified with having lead pipes, right? Only to
Exactly.
those. Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's a great point that, we love to hand out the Brita pictures. The goal is to get all the Brita pictures out. We're doing a good job at that. First, the folks need to verify what the line is made out of, either by us coming to your home or by finding the photo on the website. That way we can kind of keep track of the Brita pictures. And, they're NSF 53 pictures. I know that's, neither here nor there for most folks, but they are, lead reduction filters. They're very nice. I wanted to touch on the corrosion control aspect a little bit. We're installing a system that's going to provide, orthophosphate, which would, create a protective coating on the inside of those lead pipes to make like a wall in between the water itself and the lead pipe. So while all the replacements are taking place, we're mitigating any lead-related problems with that system. And that'll be, construction is going to start on that in late April, and it will be online by August of this year in a temporary sense, and the full permanent system will be completely ready to go for August of 2025.
Council member there.
Is the orthophosphate, is that in addition to current treatment methods, or is that a substitution for
That will
treatment
be,
method currently used?
it's going to be in conjunction with what we're already doing. So we're just adding that as, we're still going to do, pH adjustment, and we're not going to change any of the other chemical practices right now, just in addition to what we're doing. And then the mayor pretty much hit on all my other points. So when I pretty much killed the rest of it down, I'm like crossing things off my list as we go here.
Thank you. Councilmember.
Anything else from my people, or you want to take some questions?
Yeah, I have some questions. I hesitated to being part of the program because I knew that I had copper. Do you feel, how many, of the remaining do you feel may be copper and people just can't be bothered? And what do we do about that? What kind of ballpark do you think could be copper at this point?
So as to date, we have 4,500 verified copper services, and we're at about 50%.
So I'd be willing, you know, if we were to just kind of extrapolate that, I'd say maybe 6,000 overall, you know, well, 9 to 10 for those, and then yeah, maybe 3,000 lead services and 9,000 would be copper.
Do you think that'll be a hindrance because people just know it's copper?
Right.
Because that's almost what I did.
Right, that's the thing, so the folks that have copper services, we don't need to worry about it, but we still need their information for the. So it's important for, you know, no matter what the service is made out of, send the picture, put it online
Right.
for us, or have us come and do verification.
Now I want to ask you, if I had a lead pipe in my house, are you also doing the testing that was available before, the lead testing where you're leaving the pipes overnight? You know,
Absolutely.
do people, if they have lead, do you want to do that or only when requested?
When folks request us to do that, we, drop off the sample bottles for them and, you know, for the stagnant water testing, they leave the water overnight, we pick up the bottles the following morning and then we process.
Now, I gotta tell you, Joe Giroux, he's doing an excellent job for you. He's the guy who crawls into the basements.
Mhm.
I know him personally, he says he's, you know, making connections with, landlords own multiple homes to try to get in everything,
Yeah,
especially when they find out that it's provided by the city. So that's good.
yeah, he's doing a great job, you know, and sometimes he'll come back to the office and he'll say, hey, you know, he'll talk to one realtor or a few property owners, and then he's into 20 or 30 more basements. So it really opens some doors for him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess that's it.
Now, Andrew, what about the ones that we can't, so like, if they're owned by the bank and you can't reach out to them, then what happens? I mean,
Those are so we're getting to the point now where everyone that's wanted to contact us has probably already contacted us. So now we're, you know, kind of shifting to different methods. We're getting out on the street like Joe is, and we're, you know, knocking on doors and talking to residents, leaving door hangers, which you'll start to see here within the next week or two. They have our phone number on them, so we're leaving things to, so they can reach out to us, because for a lot of them, we don't have, you know, phone numbers or names. We just have on our map that,
yeah.
you know, potentially they would have lead water service due to the age of the home.
Like, I just know, so there's a property in my neighborhood that is owned, I believe it's owned by the bank, and there, I mean, we had issues with, before, but with, getting the property cleaned up, like it was overgrown and everything, there was no response. So what happens when there's properties like that, when the deadline reaches and you're getting no response whatsoever? When that deadline reaches and there's no inventory from those houses, what, I mean, could that come against us?
That, it wouldn't
Can that
necessarily,
be held against us?
it wouldn't necessarily be held against us, but pretty much when we get to that deadline, if we haven't confirmed that it's copper or, you
Yeah,
know, galvanized steel, brass, something like that, then we have to, you know, deem it on our map as lead. You know, pretty much anything that's unknown is to be considered lead until we can prove otherwise. And even if we can't get into the home, we can always do the hydro excavation at the curb, which is a little more timely and, you know, a little more costly than getting into the basement, but that shows us on both sides of the line to the water main in the street and into the home. We can see on both sides to see what the materials are.
okay.
So we might, you know, in that case, we wouldn't even need to be in touch with the bank or the homeowner.
It's just out of curiosity.
It's an actual problem. You're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On the maps on the city-owned portion of the line, it's marked as unknown. Is what methods, aside from the hydro excavation, what methods does the city employ to determine the material of those lines?
We've been having some luck with doing the 5th liter water sampling. So you take, the first liter kind of shows, like inside that, the home plumbing, the faucet, and then some of that service line. By the time you get to the 5th liter, you're usually drawing water in from the street. And, based on those results, we can kind of get a feel for, without physically seeing the pipe, whether that's made out of copper.
So you will identify a line as lead if just water testing?
We would put that into a category where that'd be one that we want to hydro excavate to
Oh,
make
okay.
sure, to completely verify, yeah.
But if the sampling comes back with, low levels of lead or no lead, then
Right,
you're not going that extra mile.
right, if it's, eventually we'll get into each one, but, it's, if you're getting, 3 parts per billion or something back, we're, not as likely to jump right on, doing the hydro excavation at that address.
This might be for Russ. Are there any other changes that have happened over the last 5, 10 years at the plant that might have exacerbated the lead levels in service lines?
I think the plant, became familiar with the plant 2004 to 2014. And when I saw the operation, there was nothing that would increase that I saw, that would increase service concentration of lead lines. Having the lead lines as the immediate the leaching out of the lead service lines, the immediate as the highest concentration. That would be the highest source.
How are we making out with the EPA violations that the city's received?
We've been working on that. You want to share some thoughts with the discussion?
Okay, yeah.
Right. Can you first give the history to the public so they understand?
We became aware as we started into the various requirements, code requirements associated with the plant day-to-day operations. We became aware that there was a notification from both DEC and EPA. It's approximately, we're trying to get hold of us and resolve this for about a 15-year duration. They finally, as a last resort, they said, if you do not respond, you're going to wind up with a $45,000 fine. And if you don't respond immediately to your sludge lagoon, getting rid of that solid waste, would be $67,000 day fine.
Oh, fine.
So in response to that,
Russ, how old was the delay?
it was about a 15 year delay. And so when we got that, Andrew immediately contacted both DEC and EPA. And we indicated that we would be putting an individual on that immediately to address the lagoon issue and our solid waste issue. This is material that comes, as work comes down through. It contains some particulates, sediment, so forth. So we flocculate this, we remove this, and once it's selected, city was required to remove this material on a periodic basis throughout the year. That did not take place for a 15-year duration. So we put an individual on that, when we found this out, put an individual on that next day. Andrew contacted EPA and DEC to inform them of our corrective action, immediate corrective action. And I think we're on a very good, positive note. And we'll be having a field inspection, in the next month or so. But so we did put it on a good working relationship. We responded immediately.
That's important,
It was
In relating to the testing protocols, were some of the EPA's comments relating to that?
no, would you like to speak to that? I don't.
I could go.
Testing, specifically testing
For the
public
lead.
taps, right?
Yeah.
Residence taps.
Related to the sludge issue.
No, I was aware of that as well, but just the lead testing, right? Because we get, is it quarterly we get a water quality report or biannually?
We do an annual water quality report, and we do the lead testing. We're on a heightened monitoring schedule, so we test 2 monitoring periods. We do 60 samples in the first half of the year and 60 samples in the second half of the year. To go back to the first question, which was, I do believe was about the, the question was about the lead, the sampling protocol, correct? So whether there's been a change in water at the plant or not, the water has remained the same, but the testing protocol has changed. So before we were, no one was aware of the sampling procedures that were required for lead, or they weren't followed. So not all samples were coming from tier 1 lead services, which would be a single family house with a lead water service. Now we collect samples only from single family homes with the lead service to be submitted. We'll sample anyone's water, but the ones we submit to the health department come from a tier 1 lead service line. And I think that's why you've seen a change in the parts per billion amounts for those lead samples. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I just had a quick question on,
Councilmember Casey?
what, do you get any, I don't know if you'd say false positives, but is there any results that you get from copper, but with, of course, lead solder?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. We did last year we did almost 1,000, it was like 985 lead samples, for free for residents, just to get, this testing done. We had a house in Lansingburg and the sample came back at 110 parts per billion. You know, oh man, they must have a lead water service. Actually, they have a faucet that was, from like the 1950s. And they had extremely old plumbing in their homes, and they had a copper water service. So that's definitely possible, yes.
Chair,
Council President?
thank you.
Yeah.
Just a bit off topic, but Russ, could you bring us up to speed on where we are with the pump station and the replacement for that?
Yes, I can. We received the engineering evaluation for the thickness. We did a ultrasonic, non-destructive ultrasonic testing measurements of the entire length, road pipe of the entire perimeter. They found that there was a few areas that were very badly corroded. Right now, we're looking at trying to address this in an in situ manner. By that, I mean, leave this pipe in place. We're going to be using a carbon fiber wrap round perimeter pipe. In doing so, that might be a little bit more cost-effective approach. If that proves not to be practical, because right now this pipe is sitting in a concrete truss block, basically a concrete saddle. If that proves not to be practical, we're going to be looking to, shall I use the word, digitally map this pipe section. It's a compound curved pipe, 30-inch diameter. We're going to be having that fabricated by Troy Boiler Works. In the interim, we're looking at putting, in order to continuously provide service to 100,000 people that pumping station provides, we're going to be bringing two large pumps online with two 30-inch diameter flexible piping that allows us to feed the high service, maintain water supply to 100,000 people and fire service. So that evaluation is currently underway to see which methodology would be the best approach. We met with engineer Emmons Pump. We have a 500 horsepower pump that's pumping approximately 4.5 million gallons a day, which is not where it needs to be. It needs to be pumping 5.5 million gallons a day. We're trying right now to renovate that pump. So it requires some various fittings and to look at windings, capacity, and efficiency of the pump. If we have to replace that pump, which we don't want to do, it would be a $300,000 cost to replace that 500 horsepower pump with a 2-year acquisition for a new pump. So right now, the evaluation is currently underway to evaluate the most practicable approach to maintain that pump. To take this pump apart, redo the windings, the packing and so forth, to renovate the pump. That'll be the most effective approach. We are putting in we're putting in an isolation valve to isolate the pump. We secured a butterfly valve, which is very difficult. We did secure that. And that's currently where the process is right now.
Do you have any rough estimate in terms of timing? I thought I had understood that it was previously announced that this would take place within weeks, and now we're months out, and so just if you could just speak to that as well.
Yeah, we did wind up having to phase this, only because the availability of the components was extremely hard to find. This pump is extremely old. It's original. It's 1963 pump. Finding parts was very difficult. So right now we did find a valve was available. Otherwise, the valve would be many months out to obtain. Did locate a valve and purchased it along with the various fittings associated with that. In getting the parts for the pump right now, we're still trying to secure the Emmons pump is working with us. It was very difficult to predict that there would be a material shortage. That's where we are. We're hoping not to replace it, but material-wise and component-wise, that's a two-year. So right now, we're looking at the most cost-effective and expeditious approach to be to rehabilitate the current pump.
So the pump is your holdup at this point? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Councilmember Brazen.
so if I'm understanding, the pump is the holdup, however, the road pipes inside of the actual pump house have already been replaced, good to go, safe.
No, we have to maintain, we have to isolate them. So, we just can't take that out of service without isolating the storm. So what we need to do is we need to insert this butterfly valve, which we literally just found. So that's where we are right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember Keating?
Russ, I just had to ask, I know we were talking about lead, but since we got you here, I do want to ask, I know with the chlorine, there's a byproduct that we have to, watch the levels every day. I may know some lab employees. But, are we looking at, in the future, at any upgrades as far as purification, UV, or any of the newer methods?
Well, ultraviolet light is a newer form of disinfection. And we are evaluating it. I did discuss that matter. I do have a colleague of mine, who we're looking at this before I became, superintendent of the water plant. Last year, I had another matter in which we're looking at disinfection. My colleague does work for the New York State Department of Health. So we are exploring the possibility of ultraviolet light, and that would be a couple what we are looking at in addition to, and that's another redundancy of insurance to ensure that we're using high grade, wholesome, quality water.
I just want to say that, just since Nate's come back, I've heard several employees, they're very, very happy about Nate's return and the effect he's going to have on the performance of the water plant and the morale of the employees. And it's good to see you back, Nate.
To further, there's also the question you asked Russ just now about the disinfection byproducts. So the two primary ones are created from chlorine reacting with organic compounds. We are also in the process of looking at treating the reservoir
with the copper sulfate solution that kills off the algae in the reservoir before those organics come down, which will remove the organics from the chlorine contact that creates the disinfectant byproduct. That's another treatment that we are gonna look into and hopefully be able to.
Didn't you have an algae bloom up there? I
We did when I was here previously,
think there was one last year, was all.
but we did have a major one in like 2016. But they've, taken away the rules as far as copper sulfate with the utilities for treating their own reservoir. Before you had to have somebody who was licensed. Which the only way to get a license was to do it.
Is that what they put on in Burton Lake? Every year?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other maintenance plan for the reservoir? Any other maintenance, plan for the reservoir?
Yes, one of the things that we had done in the past was, remove a lot of the organic vegetation, trees, falling trees, so about the shoreline. And, trees and branches in the water from the shoreline, rather than removed. We are looking to acquire additional funding, maintain from their shoreline, thus reducing the amount of organics.
Any dredging needed or required?
I don't know if we would look at necessarily dredging so much as removing the organic material. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
Chair.
Yep. Deputy Mayor?
So, thank you, Chair. Just two things, because one of them, I just want to give the utmost of clarity, going back to the pump station, that just keep in mind that first phase, the engineer talk, I'm getting a turn over here, but that first phase, that stopped the leaking that was causing that corrosion of the pipe that was threatening the burst. That was really the emergency. It was what, 14,000 gallons a day it was leaked or so, which, comes at a cost as well. But I did just want to clarify that. And then lastly, to please ask the council to join us in still continuing that outreach to our neighbors, our communities, getting folks in. Councilmember Casey, one of the biggest things, a lot of this, I think folks think, I know I don't have lead, but they have to report it. It will save on the staff end so much time if folks that just already knew, that we could clear that hurdle so easily. So I would just like to have a call to re-engage council. Please help. You're all out in the community with the constituents, in the neighborhood. So, please just continue to spread the word so we can get over the hurdle.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All right, well, I will take a motion to adjourn. Okay. All right, so, and, all in favor? Aye. Oh. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, guys. You're doing a good job up there.
Very good.
I'd like to echo, Chairman Sorrento's appreciation to the committee, from the committee, from the whole council, to those participating in the meeting. It's very, we're moving on to, thank you again. We're now moving on to our finance meeting, and I would ask that you join in the pledge of allegiance. Member Keel? Councilmember Brosnan?
Present.
Councilmember McLaren? Councilmember Rivera?
Present.
Councilmember Soriano?
Here.
Member Casey?
President.
At this time, I'll just review the agenda briefly. We have one local law, a number of ordinances and resolutions. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on any item on the agenda, this is your opportunity. We would invite you to come forward. Not seeing any or hearing any, we'll move along to our legislation. Local law number 2, a local law amending section 65 of the code of the city of Troy, Councilmember Brosnan, at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilmember Soriano. Second by Councilmember Keel. Discussion on the local law.
Council President Steele,
Councilmember Casey.
I just want to say that this unfortunately is a sign of the times as far as attracting new employees. I was hired in the fire department with 18 guys. I believe one lived out of the city. I've always been a Troy jobs for Troy kids, Troy, Troy High, Catholic High, Lansingburg, Troy people, because nobody, you really take pride in it working for the city when you're from the city. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. So we had to amend this or do this legislation, and at this time, it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Any other comments, discussion? I would just say that this has been an issue that was brought before this body previously. It's interesting and a bit ironic that we now have this at the request of the administration. I'm glad to see it, but the administration has completely switched positions, and I think it's perhaps is an indication that when you're in office and you see the reality, opinions and positions change. I agree with you, Councilmember Casey. It's a sign of the times, but I would hope, I think that we all would agree that employees are more invested in their jobs if they are from the community. I think that, and we would hope that we would do everything possible to encourage folks to live in our city, because it's a great place to live.
Well, we have to live here.
We do. But apparently we're the only ones who have to.
We're glad.
But no, it enlarges the pool of possibilities, and hopefully that means we get a better quality and caliber employee. Hopefully we can encourage them to move into the city at the end of the day. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor of local law?
Aye.
Opposed? Law is adopted. On to our regular meeting. Ordinance 5, ordinance transferring funds within the 2024 general fund. Council President Steele. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera, discussion.
You're still working?
hearing no discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution 5, or ordinance 5 is adopted. Ordinance 6, ordinance transferring funds within the 2024 special grants. Council President Steele, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember President, do I have a second? Councilmember Steele, discussion on the resolution. Yeah, would the controller be able to explain to us what the home program is and where this funding came from, please? Or is there someone else who can explain it to us? Thank you. If you could just, for the benefit of those who are new on the council, explain the home program and how this funding came to be.
Yeah, sorry, I was just out there talking chemicals with, and
Fascinating subject.
it's cool, it's cool stuff, so. With the home program, it's, that's something that gets run through the CDBG funding. For folks to help with home ownership. There's a specific question, or I'm sorry.
Well, if you just, I thought it would be helpful for the new council members to understand what home stands for, what it does, and the, we're have money coming back to us. What's the reason?
Mhm. Yeah, so the home, pardon me. Okay. Bear with me, I'm just trying to go through this.
If you, would you want to come back to this
Yeah,
later in the meeting?
because I just want to give a thorough, if you're looking for the home program, but if you're, the transfer is due to getting the income reimbursement from it, but you were just asking about the actual program,
Well,
details of it.
the question is this home improvements? Is this helping people get homes? And this is money that has not been, it says recaptured. What,
Mhm.
or
From,
why?
yeah, so from previous, it looks like it was reimbursements from previous rounds of the program
Right.
that were discovered.
They weren't spent,
That
or,
were captured. Mhm.
and is this, it's run through CDBG?
Yes, yep.
Any other questions from council members on this? Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Where's the ordinance? 6. Thank you. Is adopted. Or ordinance 7, ordinance transferring funds within the 2024 water fund. Council President Steele has requested the administration. Go ahead.
Motion.
President, is there a second? Second, Councilmember Soriano. Any questions on or discussion on 47? I'm curious, if no one else is. It looks like we're doing some restructuring. Are we having difficulty filling these positions, and, do we think we can fill them on a temporary basis better than not? And welcome anyone to answer that for us.
It's not ordinance,
So, the water, the positions.
Yeah.
Is temporary.
Yeah, so we had an opportunity, so as many of you know, I mean, dealing with a staffing issue across the board, but especially when it comes to our CDL drivers, the folks that can operate the trucks, et cetera, we had an opportunity to bring on someone that used to work for the city of Troy in a part-time capacity to help with exactly that. A CDL operator that's used to working at the city. So we brought them on a part-time capacity. It's already been very, very helpful for the day-to-day, because especially in our department of public utilities, they need as much help as they can get.
Councilmember Rivera.
I appreciate you and I discussed this in advance of the meeting, and I appreciate that. I do have one additional question. How much runway does this give us? This employee, what's their hourly rate, and how many hours are we getting at? 20,000?
Yeah, so their hourly rate is $16 and give or take 2 cents. I don't have that exactly, probably would be $16.74 if I'm remembering.
A CDL driver for 60.
Yes, that's why, again, this is a very unique situation that we jumped on. Some people really just love their city and want to do good work for it, so it was a good opportunity. But they're also going to be capped at the different hours too, so it's not just
And this is to drive like a tri-axle.
Correct.
Council President Steele.
Councilmember Casey.
I just wanted to ask Deputy Mayor, is he helping with the pond, the retention problem at the pond? Because I was told earlier that had to do with, they need an additional CDL driver.
So she actually is helping with various projects, but exactly, that's why there's some of these different little very important, but let's say side projects get put on hold because we don't have someone that can operate the equipment, drive the truck that's needed to do it. So this opportunity came up, and that's why we jumped on it.
It's the retention fund that you're speaking about during the public utilities.
Yeah, I'm just talking about that this person, it's not like they have a specific, they're being used when they need to be used for whatever project is needed.
What's the plan for the department if we're taking money from these other positions? I understand they're vacant. So we have some savings there, but are we still looking for these positions to be filled?
Most certainly. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's just, of course, when you have the opportunity, when it's a struggle even getting the folks in as a full-time capacity, which we're trying to spearhead, increase our recruiting, reaching out, and it's things we talk about all the time, working with different workforce development, because, they can help sometimes with CDL, getting folks their CDL license. But that's why we jumped on this, because, they need it in the department. It's crucial.
Council President,
Councilmember Sorrento.
I have experienced just this year alone that, so a lot of people are going to the private sector because of the money. Especially CDL. In my full-time job, we just had someone leave to make double of what they were making.
Yeah.
From the public sector. However, what I'm seeing also, though, is increase in, when I'm doing interviews. And as soon as I give them the salary, they're like, well, I can do it part-time. And I'm seeing a lot of that now.
Yeah,
where they're, because of the pay, I'm experiencing it myself, and because of the pay, they're willing to work part-time now. And I just have to say, that is a really good job, for having someone come back that also has the experience and the CDL. I just have to say that that's a good thing. So, I mean,
Thank you. Bye. Any other questions? Comments? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Ordinance 7 is adopted. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Ordinance 8, ordinance transferring funds within the 2024 general fund. Council President Steele requests the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Casey. Discussion on ordinance 8. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 8 is adopted. Ordinance 9, ordinance amending ordinance 3, 2024 to conform the authorization to sell 4 city-owned surplus parcels at 744 Falling Avenue to David Molino and or his assigns. Council President Steele at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion? Member Keel, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera. Discussion on ordinance 9. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 9 is adopted. Ordinance 10, ordinance amending ordinance 91, 2023 to correct name of corporate purchaser of 454 Hoosick Street. Council President Steele at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Keel, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera. Discussion on ordinance 10.
Let me get that yourself. Orders.
You like the name better? Okay. All right. Very good. All in favor of ordinance 10? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 10 is adopted. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 51, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Boys and Girls Club of the Capital Area, Inc. for the purpose of providing trained personnel to administer and operate the South Troy Pool Facility through August 31st, 2024. Council President Steele, Councilmember Spain McLaren, Councilmember Soriento, at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Keel, discussion. I believe there was a date that needed to be fixed. I'm sorry.
I'll look my own hand.
Would you want to weigh in, clerk, please?
So that's from what I understood, because I asked that I had to talk to that, like, the contract starts, something like pool, and, and it will be there. That's I have.
So we're
If
all,
I'm wrong. Correct.
So we're opening the South Troy Pool June 22nd.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna open that day, but I'm assuming that's when they start to go there and open and.
Oh,
be
right,
there
yeah,
and-
right.
would our corporation counsel want to just answer that for us? There. We're authorizing the contract now.
Yeah.
But the actual date is June 22nd.
Okay.
So that is the actual time that they will be administering their lifeguarding services at the pool? Is that?
if if I have to look at the contract itself.
Made on the 22nd day of June 2024.
That's the effective date of the contract.
That's the
That's the first line of the contract below this agreement.
Made as of June 22nd,
The 22nd day of June 2024.
It's when they start, June 22nd, doesn't mean that's when the pool officially opens. That's
Yeah, well, yeah,
So we get them on board June 22nd, that's not the date of opening date. Okay,
okay, but
that's
it is,
when
it
they,
is dated in the
correct,
future because that's in this.
correct, correct, yep.
Okay, the question had been asked. I'm the messenger.
see it.
Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger.
So that's the effective date, but it doesn't necessarily. That's the effective date, but we can find it in advance, and then that's when the lifeguards will be here.
Very good.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
No lifeguards before then.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 51 is adopted. Resolution 52, resolution appointing a questioner of deeds to the city of Troy, Council President Steele. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Vera, second.
Second.
Councilmember Casey. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 52 is adopted. Resolution 53, resolution proclaiming April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month in the city of Troy in conjunction with National Autism Awareness Month and World Autism Awareness Day, April 2nd, 2024. Councilmember Casey, Council President Steele, Councilmember McLaren, Councilmember Soriento, at the request of the administration. Do we have a motion?
President. Can I be added as a
Clerk, would you please add Councilmember Vera
council president?
and Councilmember Brosnan?
You know, guys, I'm gonna start sending these out. Contact me.
Did you miss an email?
Yeah.
Apologies.
If you could make us very, we appreciate that. Any discussion on the resolution that I was at the point of asking for a motion. Okay, Councilmember Keel, thank you. Second. Councilmember Soriento. Discussion. It's unfortunate that Councilmember McLaren is unable to be with us tonight. This is something very near and dear to her heart, and I know she worked on the wording of this, so hopefully she'll be back among us for our regular meeting when we adopt it. But all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution,
Council President, I also know that this is very important to Mayor Nutella as well. Just wanted to throw
thank
it
you,
out there.
thank you. Thank you. And the council, okay, thank you very much, Council. Resolution 54, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into 4 agreements with Rensselaer County for provision of stop DWI enforcement and high visibility engagement campaign police services. President Steele at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion? Motion. Councilmember Soriento, second.
Second.
Councilmember Frost. Discussion of the resolution. We're good, okay, all in favor? Opposed? Resolution 54 is adopted. I will, at this time, if there's anyone who wishes to address the council on any subject, you're more than welcome to do so. Please come forward. Seeing none.
Before we adjourn, Council President, let's say, could we adjourn today in honor of local resident Casey Brinkowski, who died serving her country with the National Guard at the southern border. I worked with her grandfather at the Board of Elections for well over 20 years, Ray Brinkowski, a very loyal Democrat.
Very good, very good.
Just a wonderful man. Well, Ray lost his life. His wife had died last year, and Ray's kind of elderly. And Ray ended up traveling all over, and I wondered why. His granddaughter, who was single, Casey, had been taking Ray all over the country. They were recently in Alaska. I just want to say, so not only was she just, everybody says from Rensselaer, a wonderful person, that she served her country, but she was just a wonderful, wonderful granddaughter. And I'd like to adjourn in her honor.